Today on What's Next.
Travel has absolutely become a necessity.
If failure didn't matter, what would you do?
People think, I'm going to go down there and see those old people, and they envision walkers and oxygen.
Welcome to What's Next, where our mission really is twofold: to convince you that there is always a what's next, a new adventure, a new experience, a new relationship, a new opportunity, a new reason to be excited about life, and through the example of others, give you the inspiration and the motivation to pursue what's next in your own life. And I'm joined today by the What's Next machine, an inspiring team of hope, inspiration, and possibility in the persons of Bill Schaefer, Cecily Wilson, Amy Sweezy, and George Diaz. Welcome all. And I think what's next for many of us folks is a trip somewhere, and really just about anywhere. The pandemic has kept us all very close to home for a very long time. If you are a fan of traveling, if you love travel shows, you probably are very fond of Samantha Brown. Sam is kind of the girl next door who has been sharing her adventures with us on nearly 400 episodes of shows for the Travel Channel and PBS. She's visited over 250 cities in over 60 countries, and she chatted recently with both Bill and me about what the pandemic has taught us all about the value of travel. Listen to this.
We have a loss of travel. So now we realize, if we don't travel, we don't connect with our loved ones. We don't meet new people. We don't kind of stretch outside our own comfort zone. So travel has absolutely become a necessity. One thing that travel marks is a fresh start, right? It's something new. It's something to look forward to even before we go. And it's a fresh start, whether we go an hour from our home for a weekend trip or go 10,000 miles away for 2 weeks. It's a new beginning. And as human beings, we are all on this spiritual journey, as it were, to understand more about ourselves, who we are as people. And that means that we're a better person for ourselves, for our family, for our community. And nothing gives us that opportunity like travel.
Guys, I love that she related travel to a spiritual journey that we are all on, a journey of self-discovery. And Amy, is there something that you've learned through travel other than never run out of snacks?
Yeah, especially traveling with children. Yes, do not run out of snacks. Patience, I think, is a big one, especially in the pandemic. People get so antsy, and it's extra busy with people getting out doing their revenge travel. So I think patience is important. But the big thing is, it's just there's a big world out there. It really gets you out of your mindset of I'm the only one here and the only thing that matters. And all of a sudden when you travel, you're like, wait a second, there is a whole big world out there besides just me.
And isn't it interesting also, Amy, though, that you bond so much better with the people you travel with when you do travel, like my wife and I, when you have those shared experiences that you talk about for months, years even after they've happened. That's where, like Mark, when you went rock climbing with your wife and your daughters, man, that's going to be a memory that'll last a lifetime.
And one I can't wait to repeat. And travel does really have a tendency to move all of us outside of our comfort zones. It facilitates culture shock, if you will, which is really one of its gifts. You might be surprised to learn that many of the most experienced travelers, like Samantha Brown, find the biggest rewards in really the smallest things. Listen in.
One of my favorite tips that I've learned is I create a ritual. So wherever I travel to, if I'm there for more than 2 or 3 days, I do one thing, the same time every single day. And so for me, it's a coffee shop that I'm going to begin my day at. It's not at the hotel. I never have coffee at my I have 1 cup of coffee at my hotel and then I head out. And there's a few things that allows you to do. One, everyone in travel tells you that you've got to do 10 different things a day and never go down the same road twice. And I think if that becomes your mentality or your approach to travel, you become really bullied by time. And then the other thing it does is it helps you be a part of a more local scene. You get to feel the ebb and flow of a neighborhood better than if you were staying in your hotel or if you were in different cafes every single day. And I had so many people respond to me saying that they do that. And then sure enough, on like the 5th day, The barista knows your order. They know what you want. You feel like $1,000,000 because you feel like a local. The other thing that creating a ritual does is once you get really comfortable in a space, I feel like that's when you feel relaxed enough to turn to someone next to you and talk. And I think talking to people is really important. I think talking to strangers is one of the most important things you can do when you travel. But just creating a ritual will change your travel experience.
Boy, it's easy to be a big fan of Samantha Brown. And obviously, finding a way to relax when you travel isn't easy. And it's one of my biggest challenges. I almost always return home exhausted. And yet I know that one of the biggest benefits of travel is supposed to be relaxing, decompressing. So, guys, what about you? Any rituals when you travel, Cecily?
My ritual is just to enjoy the moment. I literally try to see everything that I can while I'm there and just enjoy.
For me, I want to experience as much as the local flavor as I can. So I will go to different restaurants, try different things, and that's part of it too. There's the food, the culture, so many things are different when you travel overseas. And I'd love to just immerse myself in all of that.
I'm scared all the time, and that's okay.
Hi, I'm Amy Sweezy from Growing Boulder. Technology sure moves fast, doesn't it? It seems like every day there's a new phone, a new gadget, a new button you're supposed to click, or a new app to download. We are here to help. Growing Boulder has teamed up with Florida Blue Medicare to assist you in navigating the ins and outs of our technologically advanced world. Florida Blue Medicare is more than just health insurance. Yes, they want to help you live a healthy life, but also a better life. And that includes supporting your trek through technology. Growing Boulder and Florida Blue Medicare have created an entire ebook dedicated to translating tech. In it, we tackle the latest trends, apps, software, and hardware for both the beginner and the knowledgeable. You can find information on video calling services and virtual reality, along with the best dating apps for active adults looking for love or companionship. Head to growingboulder.com/Medicare to find not only our translating ebook, but an entire library of resources thanks to our partnership with Florida Blue Medicare. No matter if you're a tech newbie or an advanced user, there is no doubt the pandemic has made it harder to feel connected to family and friends. Embracing technology can help. To download our Translating Tech ebook and learn more about how we're adding inspiration to Florida Blue Medicare Advantage plans, visit growingboulder.com/Medicare today.
When we think about stepping outside of our comfort zone, when we think about trying something new or going somewhere we've never been before, it's usually one thing that stands in our way, and it's not our spouse and it's not enough money, it's our fear. Jill Heinerth is an underwater explorer with a specialty in cave diving. And while exploring underwater caves might not be your thing, well, Jill can teach us all something about stepping outside our comfort zone and moving beyond fear in the pursuit of our passions.
It's sometimes terrifying and overwhelming to look at the things that we face in life, whether it's, the COVID virus and isolation or climate change or anything that's more immediate in your life, eviction, whatever is going on. Like it can be terrifying and you may not have the big answers to solve that. So what you can do is just take a deep breath into the very depths of your soul, take the emotional out of it. It'll slow the heart rate and slow down your breathing, but set the emotions aside for a moment and just be pragmatic and take whatever small step you can to move forward, but keep the momentum going. Move forward one step at a time, and before you know it, you will have done something unthinkable and new and wonderful for yourself, or maybe even something that's new, completely new for humanity. I mean, I'm scared all the time, and that's okay. It means I care about the outcome. Anybody that's scared, it just means that you care about the results or the future, so that's a healthy thing. It's normal. I accept that. But somebody once said to me, if failure didn't matter, what would you do? So if you didn't have to worry about what people thought or about failing, what would you do with your life? And everything, the bad, the difficult, the challenging things that have happened in my life that I would never want to repeat again, I don't look at those as failures. I don't look at those as setbacks. I look at those as discovery, learning. Everything bad has a lesson that's attached with us that informs us how to do something better next time. And we just can't worry about what happened because we can't change that. What we should concentrate on is what we can do with those experiences to move forward to a better, more positive outcome.
Boy, a very compelling woman who asked a very interesting question. So gang, let me ask you, if you knew that you couldn't fail, what's one thing that you'd try? Amy, go first.
All right, I would actually do the opposite of Jill, and I would go to space, not underwater, but up high. I actually get air sick and motion sick, so I know I could never go to space, but if you can't fail, then I would go to space.
I would like to drive an Indy race car in a race, I think that would be exciting.
That's cool. I have dabbled a little bit in cave diving, but here's where I have some struggles, is going up. So I have a great deal of respect for Mark and others that have conquered Kilimanjaro, have gone to Mount Rainier. To me, it would be conquering a mountain.
It's going to be the water for me. I would really love to do this. Cave diving, I'm not a great swimmer. I can probably float, but if I could not fail, I would just love to see the ocean from a close-up view.
Lots to do. So what about you?
I used to hear these older people say, oh yeah, life begins at 65. Our golden years, they're the best. And I would look at them like, are you out of your mind? They were right.
Folks, we are talking to Jean Stadler, who is the CEO of the Alliance for Lifetime Income, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to educating all Americans about the value and the importance of having protected lifetime income. So where would you say that someone should start? If I want to begin thinking about retirement income planning, what's the process? What's the procedure for me?
First is to really understand your financial situation. And secondly, is to think through what your income needs are. We think a lot about, you get your, how you get that Social Security statement. I think it's maybe once a quarter now that will show you, based on everything you paid in, what you're going to get when you start to take it out. So you need to think through your income. How does that fit with your income? You're going to find that it's far less than what you had hoped it would be. And then you got to think about how to supplement it and find an advisor that you trust. And if I had one knock, I would say it would be on those advisors. And I think they're coming around to this, especially with women making these decisions and taking charge of their own finances. But historically, an advisor has been really good at investing your money, and they've been really good at growing your money in most cases. But they really don't know much about how to help you make your money last. And if nothing else, that's what the protectedincome.org, our website, is really trying to do, is kickstart that process to figure out, how do you make your money last?
You can learn more about the Alliance for Lifetime Income by going to protectedincome.org and start planning for your future today.
Well, I'm not sure what your image of retirement is, but if you're thinking it means sliding into a nice comfy recliner and doing nothing all day, well, you couldn't be more wrong. These days, retirement kind of looks like this.
People think, I'm going to go down there and see those old people, and they envision, their mind's eye is very clear, walkers and oxygen. Drawn a little tank behind them, and maybe it's hooked to their walker as they shuffle through the town square. It's just like a personal trainer. You can do all those things a personal trainer tells you to do, but the fact that another person's telling you to do them, or you're relying on another person, or you're going to have to show up to be there at that appointment with that other person, that's what motivates you, because you think, I don't want to have to make up an excuse not to be there. You are meditating, you are in your groove just with these people. It's like the flow, a physical flow. You're just sailing along with them. And the idea that it's hard to get up this hill a little bit, but then you don't really think about that because you're with everybody and you're getting pulled along by the peloton. You know, I'm smiling because it's so beautiful, and then sometimes smiling's not enough, and I'll just start laughing because it is so nice to be doing this with your friends in this beautiful area, getting great exercise, sailing along under your own power. It's really blissful. And you realize that's where the joy of your life comes from. You're finding your tribe, you're with your people, you're just doing fun stuff. I used to hear these people, these older people, say, oh yeah, life begins at 65, our golden years, they're the best. And I would look at them like, are you out of your mind? How could you possibly believe that? You're old, you're decrepit, you're falling apart. They were right. It is, it's the best. This is cool.
Good, let's do it again, yeah!
It just goes to show you that trying something new, creating a new habit, it's so much easier when we get to do it with others. So let's bring in the rest of the gang here. What about you guys? Is there something that you enjoy doing because of the group that you do it with? How about you, Mark?
Well, as you know, Bill, I swim at 5 a.m. 3 mornings a week. And even though most of us are antisocial at that time and really don't interact at all, we do know that one another are there. And in that way, we keep one another accountable. I couldn't do it without people that I really don't even talk to.
For me, it's a party of two. I scuba dive, and you always have to have a dive buddy because for safety reasons, it's very important. But here you go down into the ocean, whether it's 20, 30, 100 feet deep, and that corner of the world is yours. And you get to experience these things very impromptu. You could have a shark go by, whatever it might be, and you get to share it with that one person. It is a wonderful experience.
I'm going to say eating, which I know sounds kind of silly, but think about when you go to a restaurant and you're with a group of your friends and you're having so much fun. Even if the food is kind of so-so, or maybe the service isn't so great, if you're with your tribe and you're having a great time, it just makes it that much better.
I just like hanging out with my girlfriends, laughing, talking, enjoying food, and just the friendship of it all. Sometimes we're laughing, sometimes we're crying, but just being there, it makes it a lot better.
Welcome back to What's Next, and among the great content that you will find on Growing Boulder's social media platforms are what we call Bold Social. The influencers, the makers, the creators, call them what you will. There are more every day who embody the Growing Boulder philosophy of leaning into life as we age. And one of those is a Central Floridian by the name of Howard Blount. He believes in taking the scenic routes and scouting historical sites and immersion in local flavor. He thinks those are the best ways to travel. His beautiful photos and detailed documentation are meant to inspire your own travels now that we can move a bit more freely. So follow him for his latest adventure, touring with his new RV on Instagram or Facebook at Back Road Planet. All right, gang. I know we've all traveled at least a little bit since the pandemic. And if so, how was the trip different for you this time? Amy, what do you think?
Well, the obvious is the wearing the masks, of course, on the airplane. But on the positive side, I think, you know that whole thing where you want what you can't have? So suddenly when you're told you can't travel, you can't go anywhere, that's what you want to do. So I think I've learned to enjoy it more than perhaps I did before the pandemic, because now I know what I'm missing.
I have to laugh because I am that girl that travels on a plane now with a seat cover, with wipes, with the mask, and an extra jacket so that I can throw it away after I get off the plane. So there's a whole ritual with me when I'm getting on the plane.
For me, it was going back and reconnecting with my family down in South Florida. Some things that I've taken for granted for years and years, but with the pandemic and everything that went on, it was such a wonderful experience to go back home and really savor the moment.
Yeah, and instead of heading into the urban areas or seeing the rush of the excitement of the big cities, we went to like Asheville and just spent the time climbing, doing hikes, checking out creeks.
You know, no matter what you think, folks, there are an infinite number of ways to travel and obviously nearly an infinite number of places to go. And while people like Samantha Brown can help us learn how to do it better, and people like Jill Heinerth and John Kormosky can inspire us to do it differently. Travel ultimately is an incredibly personal experience in where we go, how we go, who we go with. Sure, money helps, but sometimes the smallest trips to the closest places are the most impactful. The point is this: step out of your comfort zone, change your point of view, make travel an important part of your what's next. And we'll see you right back here next time.